There are contracts in the Akashic records that you have saying that you want to forget. It's important for you to dissolve or release or bring to completion those contracts in order for you to fully access those memories that would benefit you moving forward on your ascension journey in this incarnation. Welcome to Activations with JJ, December 2023 monthly energy update. In today's episode, I'll be sharing with you some of the energetic themes that have come up for this month, as well as some exciting news about changes within my offerings. As always, I am so anxious to share with you what's on my mind and what's been coming through, so let's dive right in. Greetings, my dear beautiful soul family. I am thrilled to have you with me today. And I always say this, but time, it's already the last month in 2023, and I cannot believe it. Time. People have been asking me all about time lately. And you know what? I'm kind of giving you a little bit of foreshadowing to one of the themes for this month. But here we are gathered this very last month of 2023, and there's so much that has been coming through, and I am really excited to bring in that information. I'm excited for you not only to listen to this monthly energy update, but to have you listen to my December channeled message that will come through in a separate podcast episode in just a couple of days. So make sure you listen to both because they are companions to each other. They really synchronize with each other and harmonize so that you can see the full picture. I have something kind of fun that I want to try for this monthly energy update. And if you're game, you can go ahead and do it. What I feel drawn to do is to have you pause this episode in just a second. And what I want to invite you to do is to sit and contemplate and meditate. You can just take like a minute or two, drop into your own intuition. And I want you to allow your guides to bring forward any themes that you feel coming through for December 2023. Now, those themes might be different than mine, but some of them might be similar, and I'm interested to know what happens. So take a moment, pause this episode, and then come back when you've gotten those little pieces of information. All right, so now that you're back, I want you to drop in the comment section right away if you're listening on YouTube. And if you're not listening on YouTube, go to the YouTube channel because it's a co-creation, right? Tell me what was coming through for you before you even listened to the episode. I really feel like some of these themes will have already been in your field. They are not unique to me and my experience. They're coming through for the collective. And so without any further ado, I want to go ahead and share those with you. There are 3 themes that came forward for December 2023. Interestingly enough, this goes along with the 1212 portal that we have coming and something that dropped in last year around what the 1212 portal is. The first theme that came through actually quite a long time ago for me, it was probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, is the idea of the Akashic Remembrance. Now, the concept that came forward specifically was that I had a lot of people coming in and saying that they were feeling blocked in certain ways from remembering like past lives or even seeing in their third eye, having visions, connecting with their guides. And the intuitive hit that I ended up getting is something that, again, has been a theme before, but it just came through so powerfully this time. And that is the concept of going to the Akashic records to remember. And when I say that, I mean there are actually contracts in your Akashic records that you signed and you agreed to forget. Because in forgetting, we experience things differently. If we remembered what it was like to be creator gods, our experience here in this incarnation would have been totally different at the beginning. Now, I think a lot of us are ready to start remembering, and that is why my guides have said you have to look at the root issue before you go try to access all kinds of past lives. And I'll have people come to me and I'll say, do you have any experiences with past lives? And here's what they'll say. Well, I had a session once and somebody told me this was one of my past lives, but I didn't actually see it or feel it or sense it for myself. And so I was like, something's wrong there. Like, what's going on? And that's where they said, there are contracts in the Akashic records that you have saying that you want to forget. It's important for you to dissolve or release or bring to completion those contracts in order for you to fully access those memories that would benefit you moving forward on your ascension journey in this incarnation as we ascend with Gaia. It's important, though, for us to start remembering. This is a theme that came forward last year as I brought through the Remembering Lemuria sessions, Remembering Atlantis, and the Remembering Avalon sessions. So those are things that have been little tiny hints to this really big theme coming through for December 2023. I think it's time for a big opening of the veil, literally a rending of the veil. And you can read about that in the Bible. It talks about it, but it's all symbolic. It's remembering. It talks about this in Bringers of the Dawn, a book that I've been mentioning a lot lately. And Bringers of the Dawn talks about the fact that we have forgotten, our DNA has forgotten, our cells have forgotten, and we're reactivating those memories in everything we do. In fact, that's something that I feel my role is, and one of my kind of callings is through light language to reactivate the memories. And that is why for this month of December, I want to invite you to focus on asking if there are any contracts related to veils of forgetting. Now, I've also come up with a couple of different offerings to assist you with that. One of them is a one-on-one offering. I have a limited number of 30-minute sessions. I've made them very brief so I can do as many as possible. But my guides always say, work smarter, not harder. You can do more in less time if you want to. The Arcturians are really good at that. And the 30-minute session will dive into the Akashic records. We'll take care of the veils of forgetting. And then the doors will be open for you to begin to access those memories. In addition, I'll be doing a workshop on the 30th of December, almost the very last part of the month. This kind of feels like a fresh start for the new year. Like before you start the new year, it's time to remember. And the theme for 2024 feels like remembering. It really, really does. This is literally just the beginning of all of this opening of flooding in of memories. I don't think we are going to be as interested in learning and receiving information as we are going to be interested in remembering. And speaking of remembering, really interesting, my friend Flo of Star Codes has been doing these remembrance conferences, and we actually have one coming up on the 2nd of December, this Saturday, if you are listening right when I publish. And it's called the Syrian Conference, and it's really for Syrian starseeds to remember who they are. So if you have a connection with Sirius, please be sure to check out the link below. You can join us. There are 8 different speakers, and you can listen to the playbacks if you can't attend live, but I'll be there connecting with Syrian energy and most likely bringing through Syrian star mothers, since that's a big theme for me. Now, when you see things pop into your feed, for instance, on Instagram, or when you hear YouTube videos, and I've had people comment on mine, I remember I had a memory come up when I heard you say that. So I want you to think about that and how you frame that, because a lot of that has to do with our concept of sovereignty and empowerment, and reminding ourselves we have everything inside us. We've just been told from authority figures that we need to look outside ourselves. But if we have all those memories, we have access to that consciousness, then it's just a thought away. It's just an intention away. It's just a little contract and a little shift. So that's one of the big themes for December. The second big theme for December has to do with our relationship to time. Now, I have worked with the time as an essence, as a sentience, as an energy for the last couple of years in various gatherings. And some of you might recall, if you attended those gatherings, that we worked with the keepers of time. We worked with Father Time once, and I started learning more and more as I was able to navigate and access the void, which is a place outside of time. I better understood time, and I reconciled my relationship with time. I feel like that is a theme coming up for many of you in many, many different ways. It's manifesting. I've also been called recently to watch this show, Disney Plus show called Loki. It is a series, a TV series, and it's all about time and timelines and people manipulating timelines and just this idea that there are creator gods that are working with the timelines. It really helps you to understand it's not what we think it is. And there's a lot of programming coming up, okay? Hear me out for this one. I feel like this is going to come through in the channeled message that I bring in a couple of days. So don't forget to listen to it. I feel like the channeled message is going to connect to a couple of things. One of them, Merlin and wizard energy, and then also time. I have done other guided meditations related to it, and I'll drop some of those links below in the podcast notes. But this is another level of releasing our attachment to linear time that we're being asked to do. In order for us to move forward into fifth density, we have to reconfigure our concept of time and our relationship to time. I just saw the other day someone proposing to do an overhaul on our calendar because the calendar itself holds a lot of programming, wouldn't it? The energy behind the days of the week and why they were created and why they were named. And of course, this changes a little bit from culture to culture. Also resetting and remembering, we have our New Year that is celebrated. We have the Lunar New Year celebrated within Chinese culture. And that concept that there's two different New Years. I mean, even just that idea. And I'm excited about the Lunar New Year. Oh my gosh, I've got all kinds of plans for it because it's the year of the dragon. Yay! One of my favorites. But anyhow, take a look at your relationship with time. I've had a lot of revelations lately for myself, and I've brought them through in sessions about the root of many of our issues, our blocks, our frustration, the fact that we don't have clarity, all boils down to our attachment to linear time. And again, I'll be putting out an episode in a couple of days, a channeled activation and message that will, I think, hopefully support you through the shifting that you're going through. Not only our relationship to time, but the whole concept of the collapsing of timelines and the merging of our parallel mirror selves. This is something that again came through in a session I was not expecting. Typically in my multidimensional soul integration, these are soul aspects. They're sort of parallel lives, but when we look at parallel lives, there are some that are very far from the life we live, and there are some that are very close to the life we live. Kind of like if you remember watching some of the Marvel movies recently, where it's just a shade away. In fact, it talks about this in Loki, the variant timelines, where it's just literally a degree away from our current timeline. I actually have one. I'm going to share it with you, okay? I'm going to give you examples so you understand what I'm talking about. I have a parallel life where I live in New York City, and that is definitely not where I live, right? I live on the West Coast. I am single. I don't have any children, and I don't have a partner, and I have a cat. It's that specific. I have a corporate job. I have friends, and I have visited that parallel life. I have gone to see that life. That life has helped me when I feel resentful about the life I have now and wishing I could do other things. Because when I go visit that parallel life, what happens is I realize the grass is not always greener on the other side. But she looks a lot like me. In fact, I believe that a lot of these parallel lives, they sort of were created. They splintered off at about 18 years old. And after that, I feel like there were several different life timelines that were created, and I can visit those. In fact, there's another life that is very close to this dimension, just a degree or two away in frequency, where I am a performer, I am a singer, I am an actor. That's one of the dreams I had when I was younger. And I did live that out, but in a different timeline. So whenever I get resentful about not having fulfilled that, I just go visit that timeline. And what am I meaning by collapsing timelines? Well, Dolores Cannon talks a little bit about how a timeline will go on for a little while and then it'll kind of fade away. And my guides were trying to show me how, as we reintegrate these parallel lives that are so close to us, and this is kind of a modality that I'm still working with. I think a lot of you probably understand the concept. Some of you have probably done this, maybe not realizing, but it is about collapsing timelines, collapsing your timelines, especially the timelines that are very close to where you are now. It actually re-energizes our current predominant timeline. And they talk about this in Loki. Again, go watch the show. I can't remember the name they give it, but it's like the main timeline. Like, I think they call it the golden timeline, but I can't remember. It re-energizes and reactivates that one so that more of our presence is in this timeline so that we can have the zest and the passion and the gifts that we need to move through this really intense ascension process. I didn't say difficult. I said intense. I'm trying to use my words carefully. It's fun, but it requires quite a bit of energy to do it. So just kind of put that in the back of your mind. I don't have any offerings right now related to that, but this is where you can use your own intuition to navigate that. Okay, before we step into our final theme for December 2023, I want to drop in with two quick, very exciting announcements about a couple of changes coming through in Activations with JJ. The first one is I've kind of been giving little hints about this, but there's a big shift coming with regards to my gatherings, my monthly virtual gatherings, and my all access pass. As of January, there's going to be a big overhaul and some really exciting membership portal offerings are coming forward. Interestingly enough, you probably are all wondering, why hasn't JJ done one? Like, why is it now? Like, why didn't she have one before? Yeah, I didn't have one before intentionally. I never felt drawn to do that exact thing. But now is a time of shift. And there's a lot that involves. It's really going to be just so fun to see how it develops and how we create this beautiful membership community. I know and understand that many of you have probably either been in or are currently in other people's memberships, and it's fun to dive into that frequency and to really connect with communities. They build specifically around certain people because they're vibrating so similarly. And I found that about all of you is that you are like soul family too, because you're drawn to similar things. You're drawn to my offerings. So it's going to be really, really fun to see you co-create in a forum setting, with actually being able to chat back and forth and to come back after gatherings and share what you experienced more than just we do in the chat. The whole way it goes is, again, just going to be different. That's all I'm going to say right now. If you want advanced sneak peek access to any of that, I will be dropping an email out to my email list before I send it out to the general public through Instagram and all the different ways. So please be sure to sign up for my email list. If you don't know how to do that, you can always just contact my support team, support@activationswithjj.com. You will be the first to know as soon as that portal offering is open, ready for registration, and all the details are out there, okay? Secondly, I have decided to lean into regular in-person events at my home base in LA. So if you are in Southern California, if you're near the Los Angeles area, this is where you want to really listen up. I have always been doing these one-on-one sessions, and I'm doing them frequently. I'm doing them periodically. You can check that out on my website. I know some of you have come and we have been able to connect that way in my cosmic sanctuary. And I just felt drawn, in addition to these one-on-one sessions, to begin to offer small group mentorship. So coming forward, as of actually December, so on the 10th of December, I'll have my very first channeling circle, live and in person in Los Angeles, and my very first light language circle. Each one is geared to a little different thing, and they are very much accommodating to any skill level. So whether you're just beginning, you have to have some of your clairs activated, but you don't have to be full-blown channeling or full-blown doing light language. I would be so honored to have you gather with me in person. There is limited numbers here as far as attendance goes. So please make sure if you're interested to check out the link below. I really want to build a community and I want to do it in person now. And this is one of the ways I've decided to. So this is a consistent gathering. If you can't make it on the 10th of December, check out the link below. You can find the dates for January, February, and so on and so forth. This is, again, just the space itself, this cosmic sanctuary. My guides have calibrated it. The cosmic star mothers have been in there. So much awesome energy in that even just that location, I think, will really amplify people's gifts with channeling and with light language. So I would be honored to be with you there. Check out the links if you want to join me. All right, now we're going to move into the next topic, which is our last one, and it is revolving around the 1212 portal. Now, some of you might remember last year when I had a big aha moment, and the download I received was that the 1212 portal was actually giving us access to golden Atlantean energy. So I called it the golden Atlantean portal. And that is actually how my golden Atlantean gathering was birthed, was from last year's 1212 portal. If you are connected to Atlantis, if you have any past lives in Atlantis, Lemuria, or Avalon, what the 1212 portal represents is the completion of the 369. This is related to Tesla. Other things that have come through for me are Merlin and wizard energy. And Atlantean, well, I'd call them Atlantean wizards, Atlantean magicians, and Atlantean alchemists. But the 369 goes to 12 as the next multiple of 3. That's where we merged Lemuria, Atlantis, and Avalon. This is what we've been working on doing for this past year. You can go back and listen to my December 2022. You can hear me saying the same things. This year, there is no exception. My guides have said once more, please lean into those energies. Please understand what this means. And I don't even think we can understand it fully consciously, to be completely honest with you. I don't. I think a lot of it's going to come through the light language, subconscious stuff, and just energy telepathically. But I'm holding space for you at this 1212 portal activation, and we're going to see what comes through. In addition, as I mentioned, Merlin, and that's an archetype, right? Merlin is more than a person. Merlin is the wizard archetype. I remember mentioning this a few months ago. Merlin is a title. So there are Merlins. And I think that came from, and by the way, I'm going to mention this book again, because this book is kind of what confirmed the concept of these 3 I want to call them civilizations, 3 frequencies, energies. But the name of the book is The Lost Lands, and it was written by Lucy Cavendish. Incredible book of channeled information, memories, all kinds of things, but about those 3 different aspects, those 3 different energies, places, times, whatever you want to see them as. Now, again, this is a theme for all of December. This isn't just for 12/12. So you will feel this coming on soon. You will feel it coming on as we approach the 12/12 portal, which will be the apex. Then it will decrescendo back into a little bit more normal feel there. But by that time, we're at solstice. And I also have a Star Mothers Worldwide offering coming forward for solstice. I will be doing an experience, a journey with my friend Queenie, who is now going by Path of the Oracle. She has just rebranded and incredible. I'm going to have her on the podcast soon to talk about what she's doing. The oracle work that she's doing is so amazing. But we are doing a solstice event, a virtual event there as well. Lots going on in December, but I want to remind you, with all that I've talked about, all of these themes, just remembering the theme that I mentioned last month of going back to the basics. Going back to the basics. Let it come back to that. That's why I think time is coming through. Time is a basic thing. The concept of time is a basic thing. The concept of remembering is a basic thing. We're not getting too complex. We are being invited to consider those building blocks foundational principles. Because I think that as we go looking for some of the more complex, deeper pieces of information, we lose sight of sort of the key elements of our ascension journey. So my final invitation to you as we close out this episode is, well, actually two things. First of all, I want you to take a nice deep breath. Receive what you need, release what you don't, take your pearl of wisdom away, whatever those 2 or 3 things that really kind of hit you strongly from this episode were, just take those with you. Put the rest on the shelf for later. And then hold space for yourself and give yourself permission to do a little regrouping, a little reassessing. Are you standing in your sovereignty? Are you making decisions from a place of empowerment? Are you really building your foundation on the basics? That's what I want to invite you to do. And my friends, as we close out this last 2023 monthly energy update, I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. I want you to know I'm deeply grateful for you, for your willingness to show up and listen, to co-create. I am sending you so much love, always and forever sending you so much love, and reminding you that I am you, and you are me, and we are we. It's that simple. Have a beautiful December, my friends. Hope to see you soon.